Hi, Christine, and welcome. So great to be with you.
Hi, Damian. Great to be with you too. Thank you so much.
Before we begin, I want to thank Caroline and Mary Sharp Cronson and Duke Dang, who have been such stalwart supporters of dance now and always, but especially in this moment. And I think you can really testify to that, being in this extraordinarily uncertain and just also pivotal time, because we need to actually keep creating and we need to keep dancing. And I just am thrilled to have this chance to be back at Works in Process and welcome you for the first time to Works in Process.
Extraordinary. It's so great to be here and amazing to have you moderating this. And it feels like home. So thank you.
I'm such a, as I think BalletX is such an important organization in this field. Almost 15 years you've been doing this, and it's been all about making new work. So it's so pivotal at this moment that we celebrate that. And also in this moment of the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment that, we're celebrating women's creative voices tonight. And how you have been such a strong supporter of such creativity. And as a director of Vail Dance Festival, you've been 7 times, 6 commissions, and so many other ways that we've collaborated on different stages, including your debut this year at the Kennedy Center, the demo program that I direct. So this is very close to my heart as well. Tell me about, what it means to you at this moment. And to have these 4 choreographers working with your dancers in such unorthodox ways. And maybe you could talk a little bit about, how this is happening.
Yeah. It is a pivotal moment, and it's put us all in extraordinary places where we really have to, pull on our reins and pull together. So I was so thrilled that Duke came to me and said, let's make this work. And that's exactly how I try to operate with BalletX. I want to figure out how we can. And these 4 female choreographers are all extraordinary. They didn't even hesitate when I said, can we do this virtually? They said yes. And I just love being surrounded by makers and dancers because they're yes. And we need the arts now more than ever.
Terrific. And, as you propose to these choreographers that they take this on, we're going to get to talk with each of them in turn as they present these new works. But, how did you frame it for them? I'm curious. Did you just say, figure it out, or, this is a moment and, how did it go?
Yeah. Well, super blessed to be able to bring the dancers back on salary in early May. So thrilled that we had the painting. We had the paint. And so basically, I really tried to provide them with the freedom to create what inspires them, what inspired them in their homes.
Yes.
So I didn't want to put parameters around them. And so really just give them the freedom to make something that, they felt comfortable, but that ignited their passion.
Terrific. All right. Well, we're going to get to see these works. I also want to highlight you for a moment here as the co-founding director and the executive and artistic director now for many years. You have been a pioneer. And as a woman directing a dance company in this country and in the world, you are blazing pathways that are in the history books as well. From Lucia Chase, Martha Graham, and all of the pioneering women. You have a home theater in Philadelphia, the Wilma Theater, that is a testament to your tenacity and grit and your creativity personally. So I just wanted to give you a moment here and to recognize that, because that is why we're here today. And it is why those dancers are back on salary. And that is why we get to say there will be the next step. And we'll get to talk about that later. So with that, I think we're going to get started. Our first piece is by your company dancer, Caili Quan, who you have developed not only as a dancer, but also as a choreographer, and also did a piece in Vail last summer, I'm happy to say. So I think we should get started with that, and I'll see you in a little while. So let's welcome Kylie. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you, Damian. Thank you so much.
Hi.
Hi, Damian.
So great to see you, and I can't wait to see your new piece, Kylie.
Well, thank you. So nice to see you too.
So tell me about this one. 100 Days, you know, you have a very specific sense of music and how you yourself as a dancer inhabit music must translate to the choreography, but this is a little different, I think.
Yeah. This is so a few weeks into the shelter in place. I was dancing quite aggressively in my living room, trying to work out some of the anxiety I think we all experienced. And I broke a lot of things in my apartment and hit furniture while my husband worked in the room next door. And I thought it was really interesting how our entire universe shrunk down to the size of our living space within moments. And this kind of gave me this idea to create a piece that captured what we were all feeling a few weeks into the shelter in place: angst, frustration, but also to give moments of glimpses of joy and love as well.
Wonderful. And your dancer.
Yes. So I contacted Chloe Perkes, a beautiful dancer with BalletX, and I asked her to be a part of it. And I also asked her husband, Ammon Perkes, not a dancer, he's actually a scientist at Penn, if they would be a part of this project with me. And they both said yes and generously opened their home and relationship to the work. So that was really fun, really, really fun.
All right. Well, it sounds like you've created a world, and it's a world we now get to share with this Works in Process audience. So without further ado, let's go on to our first work of this evening, 100 Days by Caili Quan.
Thanks, Damian.
See you.
For the longest time. Whoa, for the longest. If you say goodbye to me tonight, there would still be music left to write. What else could I do? I'm so inspired by you. There hasn't happened for the longest time. Once I thought my innocence was gone. Now I know that happiness goes on. That's where you found me when you put your arms around me. That hasn't happened for the longest time. Whoa, for the longest time. Whoa, for the longest time. That voice you're hearing in the hall, and the greatest miracle of all is how I need you and how you need me too. That hasn't happened for the longest time. Maybe this won't last very long, but you feel so right and I could be wrong. Maybe I've been hoping too hard, but I've gone this far, and it's more than I hoped for. Who knows how much further we'll go on? Maybe I'll be sorry when you're gone. I'll take my chances. I forgot how nice romance is. I haven't been there for the longest time. I had second thoughts at the start. I said to myself, oh, are. You're wonderful so far, and it's more than I hoped for. I don't care what consequence it brings. I have been a fool for lesser things. I want you so bad. I think you ought to know that I intend to hold you for the longest time. Whoa, for the longest time. Whoa, for the longest time. Whoa, for the longest time.
Welcome back. And please join me in welcoming Hope Boykin. Hey, Hope.
Hi, Damian. How are you?
Terrific. So good to be with you. And
That was great.
Wasn't that wonderful?
It was so
Kylie,
great.
bravo,
Yes.
Chloe, and that Ammon is coming along, isn't he?
Wow, that was something else.
Yeah, you know, we need that feeling of uplift at times, and we also need to be reflective. We need all of this in this the range of human emotion. And when I think of you as a choreographer, as a dancer, as an artist, as a writer, you are an explorer of all those things. So it's great to be collaborating with you tonight in this way, and last year at Kennedy Center and in Vail with that beautiful piece, Moments Upon Moments. And now here we are. And tell us about this.
Well, you know, I'm so grateful to you because Christine and I ended up bumping into each other at Vail at breakfast one day, and she's like, I've been trying to call you. And so had the, stars not been aligned, things wouldn't have worked out this way, but I'm just so blessed to have been able to find ways to create. But it was hurting my heart because I had a big plan for my final day, which happens to be today. The official final day of my time with Ailey is today, but my final performance was supposed to be May 10th, and here we are at home, and I couldn't do all of the things, so I started writing about the pandemic. And then on top of the pandemic with the crisis and senseless killings of people, and police brutality, it just felt so heavy. So what was I going to do with the words that I had? And when Christine, told me, well, I'd love it if you'd work with our newest dancers. And I'm like, who are they? And I was like, well, wait a minute. I know Ashley Simpson. We'd worked together when she was a senior, while she was a senior at the Ailey School, Ailey BFA program. And then I was thrilled to get to work with this Savannah Green, who is... Savannah
Green.
I mean, come on. She's part of your family. I know.
Full disclosure, my niece.
Yes.
Savannah Green, my wife Heather Watson and I, our niece Savannah, is her debut with BalletX tonight as a company member. She's been a dancing fellow for over a year. So it's an unbelievable moment to enter a company, I think, right now. But I think she's in such good hands with you.
Well, they gave me so much of themselves, and not having all the time in the world to work, but being able to unzip themselves and share with me has just been the best. I tell them all the time the things that I don't like are not their fault, they're mine. But what they were able to produce, what they were able to dive into with themselves and let me sort of unfold this short film just has really thrilled my heart. So I'm really happy to be able to share this tonight.
Well, I think we're so lucky to have your voice here, and the pressures and the pain of the last weeks and the last years and the last centuries are on all of us right now with that obligation to move forward, and through art in this way to motivate and to be motivated to those next steps. But we all need so much to make progress right now.
Yes, and it's our duty as artists to speak
Obligation.
about our times and to stay informed and then to inform others in our way. So this is my way of sharing how I've been feeling and how I hope to continue to be able to build on making something as these ladies help me build on this work. So I'm really happy.
Okay, so here we go then with Hope Boykin's "It's Okay To Feel."
Very nice.
Did I do that? That was
You
my.
did. That was great.
All right, excellent.
Thank you so much,
And
Damian.
that is with debuts tonight by Ashley Simpson and Savannah Green, BalletX. Okay, please enjoy. Good to see you, Hope.
Bye.
Today, I've decided it's really okay. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to hate, to wait. It's really okay not to like the here, right now, in this now, right now. The thoughts that keep surrounding me are those pressing toward this, their true isolation. Alone is what I sometimes feel, but I'm more alone now than I've ever been, pressed up against something I've never known. When it was a choice, alone, I was bold, independent. Now that it's forced, I weaken at my everyday longing of laughter and smiles and hugs from friends, and nothing comes. Not in my way, the way that I want, the way I want now that I can't have it all my way. And touch. Wow. Touch. Touch is more important than I have ever understood before. You've touched me, audiences have shared. Thank you for what you do, they've also said. But what about now? What about me? What about my need? It feels selfish to say when so many are struggling and I'm really not, when so many are hurting and I am not, and when so many are dying but it's my truth and I'm sharing it, sharing my truth. It's my right to share and to say how I feel and then move on, taking the time I need to show and share the truth I have, and then get up and move on and move toward what's next, except each day we wait to hear what's next for us and we just don't know how to increase faith at a time, make it grow larger for more than just me here, but them too, watching everything I do too, watching the world break and shed and cry, making me feel just how I feel, afraid to go outside, as if my weight has meaning, if my weight is met with weighted purpose, building a heart of strength to stand, to press up and onward toward a boldness only meant for me to share and make me an evolved plan. Even if I don't quite know I cannot make me stop me from being true to me. Is this to make you feel sorry for me? No. It's to let you know how you feel is no different from the person on the other side of this page, call, door, your neighbors down the hall, around the corner, everyone in every place, all experiencing some kind of this solitude and need for truth to escape. Today I've decided it's okay to feel this weight. It's really okay not to like the here and now, right now. I need to see the truth, experience lessons meant to move me forward and through. I need to see the truth, experience truth, lessons meant to move me forward and through. I need to see the truth, experience truth and lessons meant to move me forward and through, and to be afraid. It's really okay as long as I plan to stand anyway, to go anyway, and to move anyway. to do. Anyway, as long as I plan to stand, to go and to move, and to do it all anyway, then it's okay. It's okay to feel.
Welcome back. Thank you so much, Hope. That was just beautiful. Music by Bill Lawrence, choreography and text by Hope Boykin. We saw two young dancers as they begin with BalletX, and we can really look towards the future as we're looking towards the future with choreographers tonight for the future of dance itself. So now we want to welcome Penny Saunders. Hello, Penny. I see you unmuted.
Yes, there, yeah. Hello.
Hi, so great to be with you.
It's great to be here. That was so beautiful. It's so inspiring to be a part of this. It really is. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so grateful that you are a part of it. And this is, I think you've recently done a full-length ballet, so this is a whole nother length of story, obviously, that you're essaying here.
Yeah.
Tell us what it was like to work in this way for you.
Well, I've been doing quite a bit of it lately because it's the only way to connect. But it's actually pretty amazing, the intimacy that has to happen because I'm in my space and they're in theirs. So it becomes very immediate, the surroundings and informative. And it's been really lovely. I've worked with BalletX before and I was so looking forward to creating with them again. Such a wonderful experience. And luckily Christine invited me back. And of course, you know, things took a turn, but I'm so glad that we were able to hold on to some version of it because they're amazing artists and I'm just very, very lucky to work with them. For this particular duet, it was influenced, of course, by what we are experiencing right now. And I had read some articles about how, unfortunately, when there's imbalance within a relationship at home, things like this, more time spent at home and more uncertainty in people's lives, can often bring about more ugliness, more abuse, and there have been more gun sales and other things that just broke my heart, and I felt impacted by that story. And I think it kind of plays into the bigger piece that I hope to make with BalletX in the coming weeks. So yeah, it's a little bit darker, but beautifully danced by Zach and Andy, and I'm so grateful that they went there with me. And I hope.
Tell us about the music.
The music, a composer friend of mine here in Salt Lake City, who is faculty at the University of Utah, genius man, Michael Wall. So it's an original composition, and we're working towards a larger work as well with his music. And it has a cowboy theme because the bigger piece that I'm working on is I'm hoping to unravel the American cowboy, and some of the messages that come along are perpetuated by that archetype of patriarchy and racism and gun violence and xenophobia and homophobia. And so this is just a little snippet of what I hope to accomplish with the larger work with music by Michael Wall and some other more well-known country music.
Well, I'm really that's the kind of introduction that makes us all lean forward and say we can't wait to see how this develops. And now we have Andy Orita and Zachary Kapeluk, choreography by Penny Saunders, music by Michael Wall, Brown Eyes.
Yeah.
Brown Eyes. All right. Great to see you, Penny. Thank you.
You too. Thank you.
Welcome back. Beautiful piece by Penny Saunders, presage of things to come, larger work and beautiful dancing by Andy and Zach. And now we turn to our final piece of this Works in Process by the extraordinary Rena Butler. And I'd love to welcome her to the virtual stage.
Hello.
Hey, Rena. So good to see you.
It's been incredibly inspiring. All these three women have such beautiful, unique voices. It's really amazing for me to see.
It has been, yes. There's, you know what I was thinking about, and it was said earlier, we did a virtual production earlier at Juilliard of a Nothing Personal by Baldwin, Coleman Domingo, Little Buck, and John Batiste. And it was directed by Patricia McGregor. And at the end, they did a little talk back, and she said something about working in this medium, about listening, and how it's actually such a part of our practice, but it's such a different thing in this practice, about trying to communicate with each other. And I kept thinking about that, watching the dancers as they, sometimes they're together like Andy and Zach were, and then with Ashley and Savannah with the distance. How has that been for you? And I imagine you've been contending with that in a lot of different ways, as a dancer, as a dancing choreographer.
It's interesting because, you know, I've always been like a person about action, and being in quarantine, as well as being kind of within the moment of all of these things happening, protests and everything just going on regarding like systemic issues, it's allowed me to just calm down. I think listen to myself more, listen to happening more, and that has really been the thing that's been informing my artistic choices and voices. You have to excuse me, I'm a little nervous, so my heart is like pounding out of my throat. But yeah. You know, we began this process. Christine had approached me about 1.5 years ago and was like, you know, I just came from this beautiful exhibit about the Underground Railroad, and if it would be okay with you, how would you feel about being commissioned with BalletX to make a piece regarding that? And, you know, I thought it was, of course, like me as a Black woman, I should have perspective, but such a familiar narrative, I think I was like, oh, this might be a little bit too much for me to chew on, just all the history and all the things tied into it. And, you know, as we began the process with the dancers, we started doing Zoom discussions just about how we can tackle this together. Where are the commonalities? What are the different factors, especially given this time where we all separately? And it's been an emotional ride so far. And I think we weren't expecting, we started in the beginning of May, and towards the end of May, we saw the uprising, the protests starting to happen, rightfully so. And it's just very interesting how life is coincidental in that regard. And like really being able to speak with Roderick and Stanley, who were my collaborators, and my musical collaborator, Daryl Hoffman, who is the original composer for it. And we spoke about what escapism looks like. Is it running? What is it? What are we running to? And where do we find that medium? And what do those parallels of the Underground Railroad look like in that time versus where we are now? Yeah. So just trying to find, still trying to find it. You know, this is just an excerpt out of a larger work that we're making for BalletX, and it's been really kind of earth-shattering in a sense to work through that every day. And given what's happening right now, trying to go out to the protests, trying to find my own voice within all of this, and trying to use art for change. And I thank Christine for that. I think it's fantastic. Just we've been able to find many different pockets of what that may or may not look like.
Yes. Well, the assignment was extraordinary, and the execution in this time, where the horror of the past is so present in our daily lives, and how that battle goes on, and you know the art is the obligation of the art, as we talked about a little earlier, is present, but also to be deep about it. And the way you described that before about the listening, and to try and do that in this moment is it's a wonderful and extraordinary achievement. And I'm really looking forward to seeing this excerpt and then to seeing the full production when we get to that moment, which we will get there. And I'm sure you're taking class every day and all the rest.
Trying, doing what I can. Sometimes I've got.
This is that's what we do. All right. Well, congratulations. It was really wonderful talking with you. And now, the working title of The Underway, and that's with Roderick Pfeiffer and Stanley Glover. And, just Daryl Hoffman's music. Looking forward to this.
Thank you.
Absolutely extraordinary. And there's nothing I could say more than I can't wait to see the continuation of this work and the others on this program. And Christine, as we discussed at the beginning, you are the platform. You are providing the place for new work to be done with dancers who are pushing the art form forward in tandem with the work. And it's supporting the dancers, but it's also supporting the choreographers. And, you know, we want to congratulate Hope on her graduation tonight after such an extraordinarily distinguished career at Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, and so many other ways that she is becoming and always becoming more and more of a voice that as we saw tonight. So congratulations, Christine. It's just an amazing evening.
Thank you, Damian. Truly extraordinary. It's so amazing what the choreographers produced with the dancers. I'm blown away. But I just want to point out how timely Rena's piece was. That statue was a statue of Frank Rizzo, who he was taken down just 5 days after that was filmed.
Yes.
And that was really just incredible to see this happen, and that this work is just like a reflection of what's happening in our world for all
Yes.
4 pieces. I mean, all of them. So I want to congratulate the incredible choreographers, and I just couldn't be more grateful to have you guide us through this.
Oh, just, you know, everything you said and more about all the pieces and about Rena's, you know, the history in our midst, and the urge and the will to change the future as we go forward, as we do, you know, as we do. And then looking at that. So going forward.
Going forward.
Tell us.
Well, we are leaning in, which is what we do at BalletX. And I'm really looking forward to these 3 works by Rena, Kylie, and Penny coming to life in a bigger vision. So we're going to continue to work with them, and we're going to create some longer films. And then I'm so excited that next season is our 15th year anniversary. And crazy as we are, we're going to launch a virtual season, and we're commissioning 15 choreographers, including Hope Boykin, for next year. And 9 of them will be smaller short films, and the other 6 will hopefully be on stage. If not, we'll make them larger films. So we are not going to be going far from our audience and our community, and we hope to take this company to, you know, all of our country and our world, so they can see the work that these choreographers are making and these dancers are dancing.
Well, we were so lucky over the last years at Vail Dance Festival to have BalletX really virtually every year bringing new work, being a part of the festival in all ways. And of course, this year, Vail Dance Festival, we're presenting a virtual festival, so you'll be represented in that. And you were meant to be our company in residence, which is almost redundant because you really just are. But so we're looking forward to having you as company in residence in your 15th anniversary. And that'll be just more than a pleasure. It'll be just a real celebration of all you've achieved, and those dancers and all of these choreographers who've been a part of this. I'm thinking back even more to our history from the first time you came in 2012 to Vail, but before that, with the New Essential Works program. And it was all about Jerome Robbins Foundation sponsoring new choreography. And I was privileged to get to be a part of that with dozens and dozens of new works and several at BalletX. And that history that you have created is an extraordinary legacy, Christine, and you're just getting started.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, it's so great to go back to that history, because it really did start there. I mean, you believed in us when we were so small, and to have the support to then go out and support choreographers is extraordinary. And
Yes.
It's so fun to see what they do and where it takes us all as an audience. It's amazing.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the thing. And then the ability to keep coming back, to have choreographers coming back and working more, which is so much in the spirit, if we think of it, of works in process, frankly, that we're never done. You know, you keep going. You see it, but there's going to be more. And we'll see that when we see these works again. And that giving the choreographers the platform to keep addressing the work, to renew, to keep going. So I can't wait for that with BalletX, and to be with you and all of your extraordinary dancers again. Congratulations on this evening. Congratulations to your new dancers, Ashley and Savannah, and here's to the future. I want to thank Caroline Cronson and Duke Dang in particular at Works in Process for making this platform for the platform to appear. It's what is needed in this moment. And personally, I just, huge hats off for this opportunity. And I'm grateful to have been able to host. I've been doing Works in Process since the beginning of Works in Process. 1985, January, I was a kid in SAB. And I remember being on the old, smaller stage. So this is yet another stage. Christine, congratulations. And thank you all for joining us this evening. And we'll see you all very soon again.
Thank you so much.